All right, welcome in KSO Postgame Live after another K-State win to open their season. Mason Voth here from KSO, just flying solo tonight. Drew was at a wedding. DY was busy. Fan was busy. So you get just me. And originally, we said we're not going to go live after every basketball game this year. That might quickly change if this team continues to play well, be fun to watch. Interest is high because it was pretty clear after the UNCG game that the way everybody was probably going to feel, they deserve to have a little bit more of a discussion and a conversation. So hopefully everybody's ready to battle through this with me tonight. I don't feel sick, but some allergies kicking in or causing a little bit of a cough. But K-State wins tonight 98-71. So you can see the numbers right there for K-State. Another great shooting night for the Cats. And I mean, Bellarmine just yeah, this was an interesting game for K-State because Bellarmine's coming off of a really, really bad performance against Georgia. So the pressure was on K-State to kind of match that. And the start was better tonight for K-State than it was against UNCG. And for a little bit in the second half, it kind of changed and it waned a little bit. But you know, K-State's trying a lot of different things right now. So we'll see how that kind of plays out. But the biggest thing tonight, and again, as I'm battling through this raging cough that gets me at random points, I feel totally fine. Then this cough out of nowhere and it locks me up. So K-State, big night, big win. It comes easy. David Castillo is the man to talk about, though. So Castillo, even before a couple of late ones, was already going to be the leading topic tonight because he came out and I mean he shot the ball well, which is what we were looking forward to from him last year. And then he hits every shot, 5 from three. He looked comfortable, and I had noticed this even in the game against UNCG. He just looked to have a better idea of what was going on. His finishing was better. He knocked down the shots when the opportunities came, and that's a significant part of going through this process and proving that he can be out there. And I saw the comment from Ron, and he's totally right here because based off what we saw from Castillo last year, I just had a really hard time believing that it was going to be able to be turned around and he would become a serviceable player. But I mean, through 2 games, he's clawing for more playing time right now. And he's shooting up the list quickly of guys that deserves to be on the floor. So I don't know where the turnaround kicked in, how it happened, but it's a credit to him. It's a credit to the coaching staff getting him to that point in this off season. So in addition to uh, his night, PJ Hagerty was PJ Hagerty, as you might assume. 23 points. Again, just effortless, felt easy, got to the line a lot. That's where he gets it done. And it's just to see that in action and how K-State has kind of lacked that is significant because the we talked a lot one of the shows. I think maybe it was the one against Greensboro or at one point, but it was brought up. Who was the leading free throw shooter last year for K State? Well, David Gasson. How many shoot? And then you list how many Hagerty took, and it blew it out of the water. And Haggerty's obviously a good shooter, so he's going to make a lot of the free throws that he takes. In addition to the free throws and the scoring, he dished the ball out well, 11 assists, 3 turnovers. You're going to live with that. Now, K-State is a team, a little turnover happy tonight, as we discussed at various points. This team can be, and they didn't turn Bellarmine over as much tonight. It was also noticeable, the K-State turnovers tonight, because it led to Bellarmine probably getting, you can go and look at the traditional points off turnovers, 19 for Bellarmine tonight. all 19 of them were felt pretty significantly. But even within those numbers, K-State still won the points off turnovers battle with 20, despite turning the ball over 5 more times. But it stood out. It rang pretty true in this game, and this should have been a bigger margin of victory for K-State. Which brings me to my next point from this game. And I've kind of talked about it through the exhibitions and then the game against Greensboro and then tonight. I would just like to see a little bit more of use a fast start, finish the job early, and then mess around in the last 10 minutes of the game. I I get what's going on, and look, I'm a big believer that the best way to get better at something and the best way to learn what you can do in a certain situation is by actually doing it. I think going to the range to try to play golf is a scam. The way you get better at playing golf is by playing golf. You're not when you go to the range, you're not hitting out of a bunker. When you go to the range, you're not having to hit around a tree. You're not having to learn, okay, I need to punch out here. You just, all these shots, you're just out there hitting balls in an open field. So you have to go out there, learn how to play based off what your game is to the challenges put in front of you. And for K State, I think they're doing too much of that right now. Like there's a time to do it. It's just they're doing it in a frustrating way right now in the form of early in games or, tonight I thought Doreen Buka got way too much run in that second half where he was really struggling. And I thought Case Freak said it well on our board. Like, there's an argument to be had that Taj Manning maybe should be getting more of those minutes. And I agree. I think there might still actually be a little bit of a role for Taj Manning in certain situations this year. So it's a little picky of me to want it and to clamor for it. But I think fans probably feel the same way. It would just be nicer if this team foot on the gas for the first, 30 miles of the trip, and then you can coast the final 10 or whatever it is to get in there, using the minutes and miles references there. But, again, can you really complain? Team scored almost 100 points, won by 27. It felt effortless. So some of the other numbers, K-State shot it extremely well once again. 62% from the floor, 61% from three. So that's, they had a great game shooting against Greensboro, and you go, there's no way you can replicate that. Like maybe you just got an insane game. Well, they were 52% from three against Greensboro. They were even better tonight. And one of the guys that played a role in that was Abdi Bashir. Bashir, 15 points, 5 of 9 from three. To this point this season, so Jerome Tang talked about best shooter in America and all that stuff at media day, and people kind of made a little bit of a fit about it, which I get. It's frustrating when things haven't necessarily worked out the last few years and you're getting these declarative statements again. But he now, through 2 games this season, is 9 of 17 from three. And in addition to just knocking them down, he's able to get it out pretty quick. He's able to create his own shot. Like, he may not be the best, but he is proving that he very well could be one of the best. And he's an absolute asset for K-State to have right now. Another notable night for K-State on the floor belonged to Kamari McGriff, 16 points. He was 8 of 8, just kind of cleaned things up when he needed to, got a couple of looks, and he didn't do a whole lot else tonight. He was also one of the guys that had a couple moments on defense where you thought he maybe got a little bit lost. But what I will say is that, it's not been a given and pass that you've had bigs that can finish for K-State. Like, sure, you had David Gasson, so he's like a little bit of a unicorn in this situation. But like to have one of those secondary or tertiary players be able to have a night like that, that's significant to me because K-State has been missing that over the last 2 seasons for sure. So Kamara McGriff, like if David Castillo didn't have the night that he had, we'd be talking about Kamara McGriff a little bit more. But he was another one of the guys that significant night, the way that things played out. Big credit to him for how he played. And it all worked out. And then Nate Johnson once again fills it up. It wasn't as big of a scoring night as we saw earlier in the week. But still, like, you'll take 9, 7, and 4 from him when everybody else is going to step up and do the thing that they did tonight. So um, it's like I describe it as being just ho hum for K State. And that's what the first half was. Like, you could see it at halftime. So the final score reflects it, but halftime, I think, was more indicative of even how this game felt. So what I would point to in this K-State 46-30, they had the lead at the half. And you look and you go, I didn't even think they played that well this half. And so then, they struggled a little bit more in the second half. They didn't build the lead um, as much as you would have liked, or didn't hang on to it. Once they kind of had it up there, it got down to like 11 or 12 a few times. So there was a little bit of life in this game for Bellarmine, but K-State was ultimately able to push back up, cruise, make it a fine, easy night. And that's what you're looking for here. You don't have to win all these games by 40, 50 points. It would be nice. Some teams are going to try to do it, but if you can just go out, dominate, make it carefree, don't be, messing around in single digits with 3 minutes to play. And that's what we've seen too much of the last few years for K-State. So K-State gets that done. On the other fronts tonight, a couple of other things that I'll just notate here real quick that I kind of took away from the game and thought I thought the defense was better tonight in some ways for K-State. They forced a lot of late shot clock situations, some shot clock violations. It just got a little too lax at a few points in time. And so we're going to have to see um, if that tightens up. I think it's better when, you're playing more of the guys that are strong in your rotation. There's a different starting five tonight. Elias Rapiak started instead of Moby. I think that's going to happen a lot more this year. And they obviously got off to a better start with how they did it. So I think that's the only other thing is we saw signs of improvement from this defense. Now, Bellarmine's not going to be the toughest thing you face, but still significant to me tonight that they were able to do that. So K-State gets that done. Defense looks better, makes you feel better about where this thing is going, and we'll kind of see what it looks like now against Cal on Thursday, because that's a significant game for K-State. It's a power conference team. Cal is also 2-0. They've played teams similar to where K-State has. They beat Bakersfield 87-60 on opening night, and then earlier this week they beat Wright State by 10. They have a game on Monday against Cal State Fullerton before they come to play K-State in Manhattan. And the headliner there is that Day Ames, the former Wildcat, is now playing at Cal. So this is the second straight year that K-State is going to get a former player early in the season coming back into Bramlage to play and see what they do. And obviously, it did not work out well when Cam Carter came to Manhattan last year. And so you're kind of maybe thinking about that a little bit, and you're hoping that things go a little bit differently this time around. But K-State's put themselves in a spot where I don't think you're overly concerned about that game. Let's get into a couple of different things here tonight from the comments section. Drew hanging out at a wedding, having a good time. We'll see how it goes. I already mentioned Ron. I'm drafting the apology right now to David Castillo because I want to see more of him. So don't worry about that. We've got that covered. The turnovers, I get why people are upset about them tonight. There's a few comments about that. This team's going to have to, again, like we said, I think they're going to turn it over a lot. You're playing fast. You're going to do that. They've always had the propensity to do it under Tang as well. They have to make sure they are forcing them, though, on the other end. And that's where tonight they didn't force more or the same amount. 5 is a pretty significant gap. And K-State's turnovers just led to a lot of good opportunities for Bellarmine that shouldn't have existed otherwise in the flow of the game. But that's kind of a testament to how much better K-State has been this season than past years, because they still won by 27. And even though it was frustrating, it wasn't really anything that hampered them in this game. which is Carl says, I expect more out of the defense. Should have beaten this team by twice the amount. Yeah, to some extent, like I get that. I just think like early in the year, it's going to take some time to come along. You got guys adjusting to playing in a different way, in a different manner. Jerome Tang talked about that with the guys adjusting to their philosophy of the game. Some of the international players, like Andre Kostic, is a guy that I like. I think his offense is going to bring some good things for K-State, which I'm knocked down a nice 3 tonight. But he's one of them that is really struggling at times on the defensive end. And I think just has to learn that it's a little bit more valuable in college basketball than it is professionally. But I think that'll come. Like he's still really young. Like Kostic is the younger of the guys on this team. So like he's a legitimate freshman age dude. So like he's got a lot of time to grow and build into it. I think he will at some point this year. It's just, valuing what's different in college basketball. And to some extent, like this is why my argument is that I prefer college basketball over the NBA is obviously the talent in the NBA is far better. And I think they do play defense. It's just the offense is so good that it kind of renders itself meaningless. In college basketball, the offense is not good enough to beat a good defense every time. Like, so if you go out there and you put together a strong defensive effort, it's going to reward you in college basketball a whole lot more. Whereas if you put together a poor effort, you're going to get burnt by it a little bit more because it is making it significantly easier for the opponent than it typically would be. Like, the difference between good and bad defense in the NBA isn't as big of a gap as it is in college basketball. And that's just, the variety that comes with the game of college versus pro is what makes college more entertaining to me. That's how I view the game. So we'll see kind of how things end up moving forward from there. A couple of other things in the game. Bracket Cat says Hagerty is so damn smooth. Yeah, I mean, he operates so well out there, and you could see it tonight too. Like he was having to do it through like a lot of contact and just I don't think the refs were overly helpful to him early in the game. Really, to a lot of what K State wanted to do. They shot it well from three again tonight. And I found it weird that they were so insistent on trying to drive the ball and get real low in their positioning because I was thinking, well, you just shot the ball really well from three in the last game. Why would you not try that again? But, obviously they figured it out. They started to get the three ball rolling. And, K-State had to fight through some stuff because early on, eventually this became a whistle happy game on both sides. It's like, this is dragging on. But K-State powered through it. Hagerty had to do a little bit of it adjusted. And again, here we sit. You go, I still don't even feel like we had like an incredible PJ Hagerty game and he had 23 points tonight. Like the guy is just so effortless in how he does it. And a lot of that comes from being able to get to the free throw line as much as he does. Like you just get free and easy points if you know how to do it. And he absolutely knows how to do it. Let's see. Yeah, Bracket Cat, I'm with you there. That's what I was talking about with McGriff earlier. That he makes the easy ones, and you'll take that. Will McNair was kind of there, but like McGriff, I think is proving early on here that he's probably a little bit better on that end even than McNair. And the beauty of it too is that while I'm not saying that his defense is perfect, you don't have to take McGriff off the floor for defense like you did McNair, where they were doing McNair, Colbert, McNair, that type of thing. So that's significant. The question of what do you think our ceiling is for the season? Do we make the tournament from the chat? Yeah, I mean, I've been clear all off season. Once they landed PJ Hagerty, the expectation became the NCAA tournament. Then some of the other pieces came on board, and I expect the NCAA tournament. So I've been pretty steadfast in that. And the preview show that I did with Scott Wildcat on Bosco's Boys, I said I think this team can be a 6 seed. Like I think K-State's going to be really, really good. Shamefully, I got a little scared off by the exhibition performances, but since things have turned a little bit more real, they've become better. So I believe in what this team can do. So I think they're going to be good. I think they make it into the tournament. I think they get a 9 seed or better, and they're going to have the chance to win games. And the beauty of having PJ Hagerty and some of these other guys that I think that are going to continue to develop, we're going to see it this year in the Big 12. But K-State is legitimately going to be capable of beating about any team in the country this season. Now, there are going to be some exceptions at the top, but, that's in terms of I don't think K-State's got a chance against Houston this year. But in a tournament setting and things get different, weird stuff happens all the time. So maybe they can spring something there. But I think this team is going to be a very good team this year. And comments about Nate Johnson. Look, that's the other thing too is he didn't have a stellar offensive night in terms of his scoring like he did game 1 against UNCG, but he's going to play defense for this team, and I think he's the right kind of leader and presence that's going to be out on the floor a lot. Something I want to pay attention to, and we're going to have to watch it a lot this year, is the minute distribution. Hagerty and Johnson play 35 minutes tonight, Bashir 31. The next highest was, surprisingly, CJ Jones at 20. So I still think there's room for the minutes to kind of change how they're distributed. It's not to my liking yet. I think Jerome Tang is still just kind of toying, trying to figure out what's going to work best for this team. But obviously, these type of games, it doesn't matter when you have guys at the top that are as good. You just ride them. A couple of the other guys on the floor, it doesn't really make a huge difference. But it's going to have to be tightened up and figured out come Thursday night against Cal, because Day Ames is legit right now. He's playing great basketball. I mean, he's turned into, he had a good freshman year at K-State, but he wasn't really a shooter. His shooting has developed into a better position the last 2 years. He shot almost 40% from 3 at Virginia last year, and through the first 2 games of the season now, he's 3 of 8 from 3 for Cal. So he's doing a lot more. He's averaging almost 21 points a game for Cal through 2 games. So he is going to be a real factor in this game. That's the guy that you have to watch for if you're K-State on Thursday night. It could make for a very frustrating time if you're K-State. But overall, I don't think you should be really concerned about what Cal is going to put forth against you. So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll certainly be live after that one on Thursday night and discuss it from there. So, quick one tonight. Not my best work. I know that this probably sucked to listen to. It was a grind for me to get through. I'm glad you joined us here at KSO. Written stuff over there, a lot better to take in than hearing my voice right now. And we'll be back Thursday after K-State and Cal take place. I just realized I got a scheduling conflict on Thursday. They'll have to get sorted out with something else. I'll talk to Mitch Fortner about that. But K-State Cal will be live after the game. A little bit of a later tip, 8 o'clock start time come Thursday for K-State and the Bears. That'll do it for tonight. I'm Mason Voth. Thanks for watching and listening to K-State Online, and we will talk to you on Monday.